Hi there, guys. Hi, Denise. Get going in a minute or so. Just give everyone an opportunity to jump in if they wish. Going to be going over how to build your own currency strength meter. So this is the way I built my strength meter. So I'm going to show you how to do your own. And yeah, this is good practice to do as well, because this is something that I do every Sunday. When I come and look at the charts, come look at the analysis, I come look and see where I should be placing myself. Let me just make sure that my settings are on the right stuff. Yeah, should all be good. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go through the strength meter. As always, if you can't watch the whole video if you can't watch the whole video, it'll be updated onto YouTube after. So yeah, I'm going to go over how I do mine. We'll see how long it lasts. It could last a little bit. Hi Vincent, hi Royston. Again, getting some internet notices here. I should really sort that out before doing a live stream, really, but we'll see how we get on. Hopefully you can hear me okay. If you do hear any kind of background noises, it's just the dog in the background, so he may come and disturb me in a bit, but we'll see how we get on before he does that. Right, so we're going to kick it off with just kind of building a simple Forex Strength Meter. Hi Vincent, hi Royston. And what you're going to need to do first of all is get your charts in order. And what I mean by that is we need to see all of our Forex pairs, essentially, not sort of exotics, but any kind of Forex pairs that will come under your sort of, hang on, let me get file. There we go, view, market watch. So anything that kind of comes under your majors and your minors, you don't need to go into the sort of, exotics in terms of like Euro NOK and things like that. You want just the classic 28 Forex pairs. Hi, Charles. Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to go into these and we all want to set them all up on daily charts. Okay, so I'll do this as we go, but you want to be set on the daily chart. And this is what we're going to be doing every Sunday. Okay, so this is what I do every Sunday when I come to do my analysis. And I learned this from the website. So, the website that I talk about with the cut data and the seasonality data, where we talk about the what kind of seasonal patterns to look for with markets made clear. That's how I learned this. And to be honest, I've just gone through with it ever since I learned it, because it just put me in the right sort of mindset to be able to kind of put myself in that trading mindset for the week ahead and really help me focus. So I didn't have to focus on all 28 Forex pairs. I just had these areas to focus on. And I'd kind of do it from a weekly perspective. So what I do is I monitor the weekly changes as well. And that allows me then to see where the significant changes are in the markets. But all my analysis is done on a daily time frame. Okay, so if you do have any questions while I'm going along, please feel free to put that into the chat, and I'll get around to them as often as I can. But what we're going to do, we're going to start off with actually building the thing in the first place. So you want to bring up either an Excel file or you can use Google Sheets. I use Google Sheets because you can kind of take Google Sheets with you everywhere. We're going to start off by building the strength meter. So I can copy and paste one, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it all by hand today. So what we're going to do is we want to list our currency pairs that we're using. So we're going to go with Euro, Pound, Aussie, Kiwi, US dollar, CAD, Swiss, yen. We're then going to copy that down to the other side. Okay, so you're going to have Euro, Pound, Oz, Kiwi, US dollar, CAD, Swiss, and yen. And essentially what we're trying to do is then just have a look at the Forex pairs, see how they're setting up. For instance, like Euro Pound, Euro Aussie, Euro Kiwi, Euro dollar. And then we're going to give it a scoring system based on the trends within that market. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just control this down. And what we want to do is basically negate where we're going to see sort of pound against pound, Aussie against Aussie, because we don't have those pairs to trade. So it kind of goes horizontal like this. Okay. And then we're going to put a total column. Okay. Now you can put 2 total columns. This will help you when it comes to doing the actual sort of, I suppose, math behind it. And then you can put final here if you want to, because what we're going to be doing is once we've given it a score, we've got the score for the for column and the against column. Okay. So when I explain the scoring system to you, it'll make a lot of sense. Okay. So the against column is anything that's vertical. Like here. Okay. So you can put against here and you can copy that all the way along. And you've got 4 here. Okay, and all we're going to do is basically just add up the totals of the columns against the horizontals. Let me just change it into here, sorry, so you can see it. Against the horizontals, and then we're going to come up with a final scoring. Okay, so sometimes you'll come out with a minus score, sometimes you'll come out with a positive score, sometimes you'll come out with a 0. Okay, and then what I do is I'll put it into my own sort of weekly change table where it allows me to identify what I think is going on in the market. So completely up to you if you want to sort of do this, but I like to add some borders to it as well. Don't really want those ones at the top, but probably be okay. And then add that top one. Right, I will zoom in as well, guys, so you can see this a bit better. Right. Should be able to see that now. Okay. Everyone following along so far? There's not really much technical going on just yet. Hi, Madiba. Hope you're well. So let me actually grab a pencil here. Because this will help us when I'm describing the sort of positioning of the tables, right? So, like I said, we give the I give the market a scoring system, okay? So this is what we do. So if the market is in an upward trend, or we deem it to be in an upward trend, so that means higher highs, higher lows, okay? And we have to make sure that we look at sort of the most recent high or low, okay? So if the market has made a higher low, okay, and a higher high, so this can be quite interactive because we can do this together, okay? We're basically saying, let's say this is Euro pound, because that's the one we're going to start off with in a minute. Okay, let's say Euro pound is in an upward trend like this, creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we would score the Euro a 1 and the pound a 0. Okay, because that's telling me that the Euro is stronger than the pound. Okay, if the market is in a downward trend, okay, and we're getting lower lows, lower highs, okay, new lows and things like that, and we're still on Euro pound, we would score Euro a 0, okay, pound a 1, because that's the opposite. Okay, that's the opposite. That's a downward trend and that's an upward trend. If we can't distinguish what price is doing, so let's say it's like this, and we're just unsure, okay, and it's very okay to be unsure. You don't have to give it a positive score. We're going to give it a 0-0. Okay, because we can't determine if that currency is strong or if that currency is weak. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, everyone seems to be following along. Hi, Abdul. Hi, Ronaldo. Hi, Bongo. So that's the basics of the scoring. Okay, so we basically give it a scoring on whether it's in an upward trend, a downward trend, and if it's on a range. And this is how I would say most currency strength meters work. There are others that add sort of other things into it. So some Forex strength meters add like a 200 moving average in, and if price is below a 200 moving average, they give it a score. Okay, so there's things like that as well. But there's other type of ones out there as well. There's probably better ones out there than this, to be honest. But this is just what works for me from a technical perspective. I know there's ones out there that use GDP figures and things like that. And if one country's GDP is lower than another's, and the interest rates are doing the same, you know, there's an option there for opportunities as well. So there are many out there. This is just how I do mine. It's from a technical point of view. So let's go to our first pair that we're going to be talking about, which is Euro Pound. So let's find Euro Pound here. And you want clean charts as well, guys. What I would suggest is in MetaTrader, set up a whole new profile. So I've got a whole profile called the Market Overview. That profile for me is just clean charts, okay? And that's where I load up on a Sunday. And then I have a trading section as well. So the charts that I'm trading will be put into a different profile, okay? So I think this one's pretty obvious here. You know, we can talk through this one together. But what I'm looking at is really, is price making higher highs, higher lows? Now, this is where you're going to have to add a little bit of context for yourself in, okay? Because, and I'd say probably everyone's strength meter would be a little bit different in a way, because some people will see this and see that price has gone from the top left of the screen down to the bottom right of the screen, and they'd say, well, euro is definitely stronger than the pound, okay? That's probably a fair assumption to say. However, the way I look at it is, what's happened over sort of the past week? Have we had a new high? Have we had a new low? So really speaking, in that section there, have we had a new high, confirmed high? Have we had a confirmed low? Not really, okay? You can say, yeah, we've had a wick down through here, but a wick's not good enough, okay? I need to see closes, okay? If it was like in this section here, where you had the market, it made a higher high, right? But then it closed below, let's say that was the end of the week, that to me is a potential change of trend. I'd say euro is stronger than the pound. But at the moment, in that section there, I'd say there's no trend, okay? Would you agree with that, or would you class that as a downward trend? Let me know what you think. I'm going to class this as a range. So we're going to go back to our tables, okay? So we're going to go euro pound 0 0, okay? Because none of them are winning, right? So the next one is Euro Aus. We're just going to keep following this same process. We're going to go over to Euro Aus now. We're going to go to a daily chart, okay? I'm going to look at it and we're going to say, in the recent sort of history, has price made a new high or new low? Well, what I can see is price has come down. It's then done this pattern, right? So we've got a high, previous high, and a higher low. There's a low. So I would say euro is stronger than the Australian dollar here, okay? So again, going back into our tables, I would score euro a 1, Aussie 0. Okay, so you can see Oz 0, euro 1. Okay, euro against the Kiwi, right? So euro against the Kiwi. And this one's pretty clear as well, I would say, because we've recently had a breakout into a new high. Okay, so we can clearly see we've double bottomed, price has broken out, we've had a new high, previous high. The only thing we'd say is we didn't really get the higher low here, but we do have a breakout close above, and it's more than likely that this candle that's setting up here is going to be a secondary higher high. Okay, so I would still just, again, you've got to use your sort of what you feel would be classed as a higher high, okay, or a higher low. You've got to take your own context in with it. I'm happy, even though we haven't got a higher low, I'm happy to class that as a bullish move, and I'm happy to class that as euro stronger than the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so again, we're going to come back and we're going to score that as a 1, 0. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing this. I'll do loads of examples while we go through as well, guys. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, let me know. So we're going to go on to, is it euro dollar next? Euro dollar next, right? Daily time frame. Okay, so we can see that the dollar's stronger than the euro, right? We can clearly see price is doing this, right? Higher highs, lower highs, lower lows, right? So that's going to be a quick and easy one for us. This time the dollar is stronger though, so you're actually going to come to your table here and you're going to score the for column as 0 and the against column as 1. Okay, think of it this way. Everything going this way, okay, is the sort of base current, in a way, is your sort of base currency, right? Everything going this way is against. So I might not explain that too well, but it all makes sense when we come to the end, when we come to add up the totals. I'll show you how we do that. So we're going to go over to Euro CAD, go to the daily time frame. Now, what do we think about Euro CAD? Okay, well, the way I'm looking at that is we've double topped in here. I think Denise actually traded this one, so it would have hit your targets, Denise, down in here. Market's making lower lows and lower highs. Okay, simple. Euro against the CAD. So Euro is weaker than CAD for me. So again, I'm going to score you a 0. I'm going to score CAD a 1. Yeah, and we're just going to keep flying through these now. So we're going to go Euro Swiss, definitely in a downward trend there. Market's making lower lows, lower highs. So again, I think Swiss franc is stronger than the euro. So I'm going to say 0 there, 1 there. And then finally, we've got euro yen. Daily time frame. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky, isn't it? Because we've had a move down. Let me just change the color on that. We've had a move down. We've had a lower low form. Price has made a higher high after breaking that. Okay. So I would argue still that we're probably still looking at the fact that the euro is stronger than the yen. It's just that, again, you'd have to look at this and use your own sort of come to your own conclusion, basically, on whether you think that the yen is stronger than the euro. I would say that euro is stronger than yen in this position. So what I'd do is I'd go back to the table, euro, yeah. Okay, so we've done our column. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions about that before I move on? Thank you, Ronaldo. All clear? Cool. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. Awesome. So basically what we need to do now is total it all together. We need to come up with what is the overall total for that currency. Okay. So we've got the for and against column. So in the for column and the against column, we're just going to add them up. Okay. So you can see in the for column, we've got 1, 2, 3. So in the total there is going to be 3, right? When we come down here, we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what you need to treat the against column as is almost as a minus. Okay. So you're going to be adding the 3 to the minus 3. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So 3 plus minus 3 is 0, right? So I put that as a 0. Okay. So although that's, so you want to kind of look at this as that's your positive number, that's your negative number. Okay. Let me just turn that to, whoops, didn't mean to do that there. Okay, so you're going to add those two together, comes to 0. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing now. We're going to do the exact same thing for pounds. So now you might be thinking this is a long process. It actually isn't that long once you start building the table in and you start doing it on a weekly basis, because your eye quickly understands whether you need to say, you know, yeah, okay, that's changed. A lot of the times it hasn't changed. Sometimes it has. So you can just quickly update it. Okay, so once you've got this built, you don't really need to change it too much too often. Right, so we're going to go over to pound Aussie now. So pound Aussie, if we have a little look at the daily chart, okay, so I think pound is stronger than the Aussie because we've got this higher high, higher low pattern. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to score pound a 1, Aussie a 0. Pound Kiwi is our next one. So I'm just going to fly through these guys so we don't take up too much of your time. Okay, so sorry, that's pound CAD. Where's pound Kiwi? Here we go. I thought that looked a bit different. Yeah, okay. Pound is definitely stronger than Kiwi there. I don't think I need to explain that one. Okay, 1, 0. We're going to go pound US dollar next. It helps when you put them in order as well. I don't have them in order, but yeah, pound is weaker than the US dollar, so we're going to actually score this a little differently. So we're going to score it as a 0 to the 1. We know dollar's strong at the moment, so we might get sort of a good dollar score in here. Now we can go to pound CAD. So pound CAD was a little bit bearish there, but we're also in this kind of consolidation there. Okay, but the way I see that is we've got lower high, we made a higher high, price has traded down. Are we going to continue to make sort of lower highs and lower lows, potentially down to here? So the way I'd look at that one, again, you've got to use your discretion. You may score this in 0-0 because of that in there. And I'd say that's absolutely fair. What I would be looking at, just kind of going back, is these lows in here that we've taken out. So I wouldn't even mind saying that the CAD was stronger than the pound here at the moment. But if you're unsure, put it as 0-0 because there's no harm in doing that. Remember, this is just for you to kind of look at it and find the strongest currency against the weakest currency. So if you score it 0-0, let's just score it 0-0 just because in case we're not sure, right? Then at least we're not kind of giving ourselves a false belief that that currency is strong or not, right? There's no debate then. Okay, we can just give it another week and see what happens. Pound Swiss, we're going to go on and we're going to just go to the daily time frame. That's a range for me. Like that there is, yeah, that's just looks horrible as well. You can tell that straight away. So pound Swissy for me is not one to watch. And then finally, pound yen, which again is bullish at the moment. So I'm looking at pound being stronger than the Japanese yen. So I'm going to give that a 1, give that a 0. So again, do the exact same thing. So with pound, we've got 1, 2, 3. So I could just copy that down. And on the weak side, we've got 1. Okay, so you've got to treat that as a -1. Right, so 3 plus -1 is +2. So I give that a +2 score. I'd put it in like I usually put it in like a green color like that, just to give me visuals of whether it's, sorry, I usually put it in blue, don't I? What blue do I use? Is it this one? Just to kind of give me a visual representation of, and I can clearly see what's positive, what's negative. Okay. I then highlight. So if it was a +6, I'd highlight that as a different color because that to me means that the currency is extremely strong. So let's carry on. Hopefully this is all making sense. Ask me questions if you want to. Aussie Kiwi. So again, this is going to be a difficult one because in theory, we're technically still making lower highs and lower lows, right? But price is kind of rallying towards this high here. Okay. But we're still making those lower lows and lower highs. I would start to score this one a little bit as a 0. Okay. 0-0, because it looks to me more that we're going to likely hit this high, potentially come back down, could start to form a range. Now, that is getting into sort of speculation rather than what is happening. But when you do this for a long time, you'll probably start to do this as well. You'll probably start to predict what could potentially happen and how that can affect the tables as well. If you want to be super, super strict, you can. And you can say that, well, technically this is lower lows and lower highs. So the Aussie scores a 0 and Kiwi will score a 1. Okay. Okay. Aussie US dollar. Definitely weaker. So we can score the Aussie US dollar in a different way. We can go Aussie is a 0, dollar is a 1. Then we've got Aussie CAD. Sorry guys, my dog has just got up. Apologies if you can hear his ears flapping in the background. Aussie CAD, so we're getting new lows on Aussie CAD. So we can easily come back into Aussie CAD here and say that it's going to be 0 to 1. So it looks like the Aussie is going to be super weak here at the moment. Now you can do this daily if you really want to. I'll just do it weekly because I just think of sort of time and stuff. I'd say that's sort of a new low in there. So I'm happy to call that a Aussie Swiss weakness. And then finally, Aussie yen. You can see how quickly you can do this. Okay, Aussie yen's a little bit different for me because of that high in here. Although we're getting higher lows, I would say that's a little bit more range bound. So I'm happy to score that 0-0. Okay. Yeah, hopefully you pick up on that, Vincent. I'll score that 0-0. Okay, so this is going to be a negative number, right? This is going to be a negative. I can tell that because if we look at the 4 column here, let me just kind of highlight that column. You can see that there's nothing strong about the Australian dollar. Okay, so we're going to score that one a 0, right? We'll give it a yellow just because it's the 4 column. So we're going to score that a 0. However, on the against column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is going to be one of those. There we've got 6. So you're going to go plus 0 minus 6. It's going to give you minus 6. Okay. Now, usually when I get that type of color, I usually highlight it yellow to give me a little bit of a sort of bit, but I'm using yellow already. So we're going to go with sort of like an orange color. Now, the reason why I've done that is because this to me is one that we need to focus on. So Aussie is something that we should be focusing on. And we need to try and find stronger currencies to trade it against now. So if we can find a currency that's like +4, +5, that's going to be a really good one to look at. But also because it's -6, it could be at a point where it starts to reverse. Okay, so that's what we've got to be kind of watching kind of week in and week out. If it starts going from kind of -6s to -5, -4, that is a sort of early warning sign that we could start to sort of look for the change. And, you know, the reason why I say that is because, you know, when looking at the strength meter, when I put it in, when it looks like this, you can see that when I plot it like this, you can see when we come into the kind of +6s, right, you just look at how everything changes. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that like this currency is going to become super strong, super weak, but this is when I start to take notice of a currency. Okay. Especially because it kind of gives me a little bit of a heads up that, okay, this is a really, really weak currency now. Is that going to start changing? It's like yen this week, right? The yen's super weak at the moment. We know that. We can see that. Looking around, we can see that. But is it going to come to a point where that weakness starts to change? And if we do start to see that kind of dip back higher, that could be the point where we start looking at yen as an actual buy rather than a sell. Does that make sense? So in that kind of context here, it makes a lot more sense than obviously just looking at a table like this, right? That's why I developed the sort of strength meter there. Okay, so Kiwi dollar as well, we're going to take a look at. Hopefully this is all making sense so far, guys. Let me know if it's not. Let me know if you want me to sort of repeat myself. Kiwi, yeah, look how weak that is. So we're going to score that as 0 and a 1. Okay. Kiwi CAD, we're going to go on. I know Kiwi is very weak at the moment, so Kiwi CAD, yeah, new lower low there on Kiwi CAD. So this is going to be another one that's showing us that a currency is weak, I feel. Kiwi Swiss, again, look at that new lower low being formed. Okay, that to me would be a sign that we need to be started looking at that Kiwi weakness. Okay, and then you've got Kiwi Yen as the final one. Where did I get that table? The one that we're using, or the one that I just showed you, the currency strength meter? What was the final one? Kiwi Yen, wasn't it? Here. Okay, this is one that's technically still in an upward trend, okay, because you've got higher highs, higher lows, right? So I'd actually score this as Kiwi being stronger than the yen still. Okay, so that's, you know, following the sort of strict rules, I'd give Kiwi the benefit of the doubt there, and it'd be a 1. This one here, I made this. So out of all the data over here, out of every single week that I've done, all this data here gets put into this, and then I kind of chop it up, and because it can get too squished. So this is about, oh, how many months of data is this? This is about a year, maybe a year, maybe a bit less than a year of data in there. But yeah, it all gets put in, and then sometimes you can make charts out of it. So I haven't updated this one, but you know, if I just wanted to look at pound US dollar, I can create my own line table from that. So yeah, this is why it's cool as well. So I know you can see all of these here. This isn't one that I've done for. I've started a new one at the pretty much towards September last year. But yeah, this was 2021. That is. So, but yeah, if you wanted to like isolate them, so here, look, I've got a dollar yen table. I don't know how long this is, but sometimes if I look at the strength and weakness, and then I go, oh, I like the idea of looking at just separating those two currencies and seeing how they're performing, then yeah, I'll look dollar yen, pound Kiwi at one point was a really good one to watch, because, you know, when was that? That was 20th of March, 2022, you know, and that was suggesting that the New Zealand dollar was strong, pound was weak, but they were kind of converging towards each other. So pound Kiwi at that time could have started to look like it was going to go long around about the 20th of March 2022. Whether that followed through or not, let's have a look. Is a different question. March 2022, May, April. So this was where it was super strong. That's not March. This is March. So yeah, look. So when I was looking at that was around about the 20th, right? And you can see how the two currencies started to converge together. So that downward trend started to end, and then we started to see an upward move come out of it, right? So the currency strength meter was telling me that this potential downward move was nearly over. Right, so that's how I use it to kind of pick out sort of those sort of reversal points, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry, I've lost track. Where am I? Where are we going? Right, dollar CAD. How long have we been running for? 34 minutes. Okay, that's longer than I wanted to do, but we'll finish this up. Sorry, let's finish this up and then we'll go on. So right, so Kiwi, looking across there, we've got 2. Okay. Right, so there's 2 for it, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against it. right? So we'll put a 5 there. So again, all you need to do, you can even just whack out a calculator if you need to. Simple math though, really. You've got +2 minus 5, that's -3. Okay. Does that make sense? Right, let's go on to finish the dollar pairs then. So we've got dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, dollar yen. So if we go dollar CAD first, okay, yeah, dollar's definitely getting stronger than the Canadian dollar there. So we've got dollar CAD, dollar Swiss was one as well. Yep, starting to make higher highs through there. And dollar yen, we know dollar yen because we've been talking about getting long dollar yen. So, you know, that one's bullish as well. So we can score the dollar in favor of all those pairs there. So we've got 1, 1, 1. Sorry, I'm just doing this quick. 0, 0, 0. And then we can score the dollar up. So we've got a full house there on the dollar. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got strong 7. And we've got 0 over here, right? Let me just actually clone that down, put a 7 in it, so I don't have to keep going back. 0. So again, you got +7 minus nothing. It's +7. Okay, so that's your strong currency. Give that an orange because it's an extreme at the moment. So really speaking, immediately I'm looking at this going, right, okay, I need to be short in Aussie dollar, right? So on pullbacks on Aussie dollar, I want to be looking to see if there's an opportunity there. Sure. Okay. Again, you have to add context to this. You know, be careful that you don't just start shorting it right now. You know, you're right at this sort of extreme there. Remember, you still want to add your strategy into this. So the way I'll be looking at this is identifying an area on the chart where price could come into. We know that it's somewhere in and around this area here, potentially, that price could come into. And then I'd build a position around that. So, you know, I still look for my 4-hour pullbacks and things like that. Okay, so don't jump right in. Make sure you still do your analysis around it. Okay, because basically it's just telling us the obvious, really. You know, it's telling us the obvious that Aussie US dollar is short, but what it's also doing is painting the picture of how aggressively short is it. Okay, so I know, okay, I want to be a buyer of the dollar. So let's go back to the table a second. I want to be a buyer of the dollar because it's +7. Do I necessarily want to buy it against the euro because it's a 0? Well, I can because it's strong, but against the Aussie US dollar, it could go further and the volatility could push it a lot more sort of aggressively. So I could probably get more out of an Aussie US dollar at the moment than I could a euro dollar, if that makes sense. Okay. So we've got 2 left on CAD. We've got CAD Swiss, CAD yen. You can see how quickly you can kind of start to do it. So again, I'll just do both of those here. CAD Swiss, I'm going to score this as 0, 0. Although we've done this, I feel like I'm going a bit sideways there at the moment. So again, just go with your gut feeling. If you see it and you think, I'm not sure, to score it 0, 0, there's no problem with doing that. And then finally, CAD yen. That's upward trend to me. Even though we're consolidating there, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. So for me, straight away, I can say, yeah, CAD yen. So I'm going to score 1 to CAD, 0 to the yen. And we can add CAD up now, I think. So did I just do that wrong? I put that in the wrong column, haven't I? It was 1 to CAD, 0. What did I score? CAD Swiss 0, 0, didn't I? Right, okay. So we can do CAD 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got a +4 there. And on the downside, we've got 1. So you remember, you've got to see that as a -1. So 4 minus 1 is still a +3. Again, I'll give that a blue because it is a positive number. All we've got to do on Swiss is Swiss yen. So let's have a look at Swiss yen. Yeah, happy with that as being bullish, to be honest. So we're pretty much done here. We've got 1-0. Swiss franc is 1, 2, 3, 4. So same. Swiss to the downside is 1. So the same. So it'd be the same as that one. There's 3. Okay, and then you've got the yen. So you've got yen, 0. 0. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to copy that from there. Right. You can copy this as well. So 0 minus 6, minus 6. Actually grab that from the Aussie. So this is telling me really now what we should be focusing on is dollar yen long, really, Aussie US dollar short. And then you could obviously play around with some other pairs. I know that CAD and Swiss look to be getting stronger at the moment. So you could argue you could be looking at your CAD yen long and things like that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. You don't need to add this up either. It's not like a total score through there. But yeah, that's how you build your own Forex sort of strength meter. Now, the only way you're going to get to this is by having multiple weeks of data. I didn't start this until I had like, I think it was 2 months worth of data before I even started to plot it like this. So before you get to something like that, you're going to want to build up a little bit of progress. And again, something I just do, I can just show you this. I don't need to, I'll just copy and paste it from my other table. It'll look different, obviously, because we haven't, I do this on a Sunday, not a Thursday afternoon. So what I do then is I plot the weekly changes. So these numbers here on the final will be plotted into this week. Then I'll compare them to last week and see what the change has been on the week. These numbers here on the final column, those are what gets plotted into the strength meter, which gives you that graph. Okay, any questions, guys? Good job I did an iced coffee. Otherwise, it would have been very cold by now, so glad I did that. Does that one make sense? No. Abdul, what didn't make sense? Let me know. I might have brushed over that last bit a little bit quick. Okay, cool, Denise. Yeah, so you're going to build the graph after you get, you know, your significant data, right? So if I come into here, so the way you can do it is if, so let's say we want to build, let's build a pound dollar one or something, or let's just do an Aussie. Let's just close this down. What's moving at the moment? It's going to be dollar and yen, isn't it? Let's try and plot a dollar yen. So you want to grab the date, okay? You want to grab the US dollar and you want to grab the yen, okay? Now what you want to do is you want to format that data. So you're going to go insert chart, okay? And it's going to give you this sort of graph in here. Now, obviously, you can change the input of the data. You can change all the colors and things like that. So you want to change and make it more customizable. You can do. So, for instance, the date range, you probably don't want to add as much as I've done there. So let's see. Let's go to like, we're on 142 at the moment. So let's just add like 100, or let's just add 42 actually. So if I just go 100, 100, 100, click OK. So you've got just a clearer sort of picture of what's going on there, right? So you've got your axis here, which is your scoring from 0 to +7 to -7. Okay. You've got your green line, your orange line, which is saying is series 3 at the moment, but you want to change that so it says sort of US dollar or Japanese yen. So just the easiest way to do that is just go to your latest data. You know, the dollar was 2 and yen was -7. So I know that the orange one is yen. So your text label, you can just say is yen. Okay. And then here, whoops, go in there, just put US dollar. Right. So now you've got a graph that's just comparing the dollar against the yen. Again, you can change the background colors and all that kind of stuff. If you really want to go through all that, you can even make it transparent, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so we can see clearly now that the dollar is strong, yen is weak. You want to be trying that potential movement. Okay. Does that make sense? That's just a quick synopsis of that. That's, you know, I add all that data basically all through there to get this one, just so I can monitor where the currencies are. Abdul, if that didn't make sense, let me know. If there's a question that you want to ask me, feel free. All good? Cool. Right then, guys. That's all I'm going to leave you with then. Do I give you this example here? Let me just put... I don't know if I'll be able to share this, to be honest. I have to try and find out. If I can share this table, I'll let you know. At the end of the day, it's just a table, isn't it? It's on Google Sheets. That's what I'm using to do this. You can use Excel or anything that creates tables, basically, you can use. You're welcome, Vincent. Hopefully that has been helpful. Like I said, if you do have any questions, can you do this for gold? Yeah, you can add gold in there. I suppose what you'd do is you'd add XAU against dollar, against euro, pound, Aussie, Kiwi, Swiss yen. I don't know if you can add that many. Let's have a look. Because the way this is done is through price action, isn't it? So let's go to Market Watch. Let's have a little look. So you've got XAU, pound, Aussie, euro, pound, Aussie, euro. You're also going to have XAU, US dollar. You got it against the Chinese yuan. You could and Singapore dollar and Thai baht. Don't think you've got it. Let's have a look. No, I mean, it depends how you do it. I don't do it for gold, but yeah, that's just me. Right then, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Let's have a quick look at what's going on in the market before I leave you. Aussie US dollar still on the downside move there. That's good. We expect that because of our table, which is nice. Pound is starting to gain a little bit of traction. It's something I am interested in, but not necessarily interested in against too much at the moment. Pound dollar also starting to break down a little bit there. Let's have a look. Dollar yen. I really shouldn't have got out of that dollar yen trade now because it is doing pretty well. So I'll have to see if we get some kind of pullback soon on that one. Bongo John, why do you stop sending signals? I don't send signals out. We do have a Telegram channel, but that is run by a third-party company who are FCA regulated. Because unfortunately, that's the rules at the moment. So I can't give out any kind of signals or anything like that. I can only say this is what I can do. Cool, Denise. Have a great weekend as well. I'm saying that like it's Friday. It's Thursday. Have a great day tomorrow as well. It's a similar thing. I can't give any sort of, you know, advice or anything like that. It's just showing you what I would do personally. You have to make your own informed decisions, go and do your own research and things like that, which I would suggest anyway. If you watched anybody, if you took any kind of information in from anybody, always do your own research, because if tomorrow I'm not here, you're going to be a bit stumped. So yeah, I would make sure you do your own research. Today's your Friday. Okay, cool, Denise. Forgot about the time zones in the world. Have a good weekend. Thanks, Royston, for joining me again. Hope you're well, mate. Ronaldo, yeah, you can. If I just flip back to this screen here, if you search for us, it's Blueberry Markets Official. I believe there's a link under the YouTube description. Not under this live, but under the YouTube description. Cheers, Bongo. Thanks for understanding, mate. Right, I'm going to leave it there then, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. We've got another Trader Talks video up tomorrow. We're speaking to Trader Nick this time. So hopefully you can get some info out of that one as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe. It really helps us grow. Leave this stream a like if you learned a lot today. And yeah, hopefully you can build your own strength meters, and let me know in the comments when you've built one this weekend. Let me know what numbers you get, and on the week ahead analysis video, it'd be fun to have a little look to see what we all get. Right, thanks guys, and I will see you next week. Cheers.